Welcome to the Monday Monologue. This week, the topic is it live or is it Memorex? I'm sure some of y'all are old enough to remember those commercials, and they were definitely making the point that anything that you play on your hi-fi should sound like the live recording or the live experience was. And is that necessarily what we want? I would say sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. I was at a piano concert this last weekend, and some of this could just be because I've become sensitive to hearing this kind of thing. But when I went, I was expecting the same experience I had 4 years ago when they had the piano sitting up on the front of the sanctuary with no sound equipment hooked to it. And it was just the piano in the room, and it was angelic. We went Friday night to a concert, same artist, same venue, but this time somebody thought it was a good idea to stick a microphone inside the piano, and they ran it through the church's sound system with some 80-year-old guy in the back that probably can't hear for shit mixing it. And the treble was super bright, sounded like they were running it through a compressor where all the levels were the same no matter how light or hard he was playing the piano, and super distorted. At least it was to my ears. It didn't sound anything like I remembered it from 4 years before. And so bought his CD at the concert that night, and when I got home, put it on my 300B system, and it sounded like I remembered from 4 years ago. So really, should I try to make the performance that I'm listening to in my house sound like what I heard at the church? Is that the right levels and the right way it should be listened to? I don't think so. And I know y'all have probably been at venues where there was a lot of echoing, or there was a lot of other distracting things going on during the performance that made it sound less than ideal, and playing the recording in your home is going to sound better. The other thing is, a lot of it's just personal taste. When you buy a painting from someone, I'll go around my house trying it in different locations in different light and see where I like the way it looks. And is that the way the artist intended it? I have no way of knowing. But it's my enjoyment that I should be concerned with, not whether or not this is exactly the way the artist intended it to be. So don't feel like that you have to mix things or have your treble and bass and stuff adjusted so it's mimicking what it would sound like if you were there. You should really be trying to adjust it to where it sounds good to you. And I guess the other part of this is, have I ruined my ability to enjoy live recordings listening to a really good hi-fi? Because I really was just almost miserable. I mean, it was great seeing him play. It was great to be there live, but the sound was just bad. And my boyfriend was with me. He thoroughly enjoyed it. Didn't notice any of that stuff. And so, I feel like it, on some level, being kind of a hi-fi snob, it does limit your ability to enjoy live music unless it's really done well and somebody that's got some talents on the mixer and not some hack that's half deaf, tuning it to what he thinks sounds good. And I guess that leads into the next thing is, we don't all hear the same. Especially as you get older, your high-end hearing definitely goes away. And I probably enjoy systems that sound brighter, that to a young person, they'd be going, that sounds horrible. And so, again, it has to sound good to you. Don't worry about what other people say. And that's I mean, I know y'all are tuned in to get my reviews on some of this stuff, but understand that, you know, I'm older and my hearing pretty much flattens out over 10K, and so I'm not going to hear stuff on the upper end that a younger person is going to, and probably need a little treble boost in the systems that I listen to. So that's for this week. What I do want to cover too is what I talked about last week about these preamp projects. Somebody mailed me another one. I got this Memorex 7 clone. I got one that uses a couple of 6SN7s, and then I've got the Conrad Johnson clone that we're going to build on the channel. And then once we're done, we're going to compare the three. Like I told you, I don't really have an amplifier that requires a preamp, and so I've decided that once we get this preamp shootout done, in the kind of distant future, might be late spring, maybe in the summer, I'm going to start working on a pair of KT88 monoblocks that are designed with low input sensitivity so that they require a preamp. And obviously that's going to go into the design of how many stages on the front end we have, and I want it to need a preamp so that some of these high gain preamps that people have out there on the market will have a use. And so I think that'll be fun. And having it that way, if we have several different preamps, you can change the sound that we're getting out of the amplifier by just swapping in a different preamp instead of having to build a whole new amplifier, which I think will be fun. So anyway, hope you're enjoying the channel. If you are, please sub, like the video, and I'll see you next week for the Monday Monologue.